Coach, first home game coming up here against a nationally ranked opponent. Let's just get an opening statement from you.
Obviously excited to play at Waldo, in front of our students and our fans and have a chance to, pack this place for Pitt. Obviously I played here and this environment is special. And, our kids, we practice here every day. So, opening up on the road 2 in a row is unique, but, it leaves an opportunity like this where the guys are fired up to come out here and play in front of a home crowd and played in two pretty good environments, and we're ready to play in our environment. So we're excited and obviously to bring a top 25 team in. That's a great football team. It's great for the city. It's great for our school, faculty, students. It's gonna be fun to get together and have a heck of a Saturday night.
You're back to non-conference, but last week a big MAC win against West opponent and a back-and-forth game. Just take us through your thoughts on the win at Ball State.
Yeah, it was a MAC West game for sure, right? Tons of close games, and I was proud of the team. They fought. We didn't play. We did not play a great first half. Left a lot of points on the board, but they kept fighting. And we kind of got things straightened out in the second half. I thought we did a much better job of executing in both the pass and the run game, and executed in unique situations. And fourth downs were pretty darn good when we needed it, and we finished the game. And so I was proud of the fight of the team, because it definitely went back and forth the whole time. We retook the lead, they retook the lead. I don't know how many lead changes, but our guys fought, and a road win, especially in week 2, it was the biggest game that we talked about all summer. This is to put us in a position to accomplish our goals. So proud of the guys, proud of they outlasted a good team, and we turned the page, and we're ready for our first home one.
So turning the page to Pitt, you played them last year, obviously, and good outcome for you. But turning the page to this week and the team that they have, what's the difference that you see from last year to this year?
Man, a ton. I mean, totally different. Last year's last year, 100%. Two totally different quarterbacks, offenses. I mean, similarities on the defensive side of the ball. So I don't know, other than the fact that we played them last year, I don't know if there's anything we can gain. I mean, we can watch our offense versus their defense, but we've got a new offensive coordinator, and we can watch their old offense versus our defense, but they got a new offensive coordinator. So there's not a ton we can get from that. The story of last year's game is they turned the ball over 3 times. We fought hard. They turned it over 3 times, and we held on to the ball. And that's what happens, and we've learned that. We learned that at Michigan State. And if you turn the ball over, you can't win. And but there's nothing from last year that's going to help us other than watching them this year, watching the defense fly around. There's some really good players, I'm telling you. We faced them last year. There's a ton back on their defense, and there's really a ton back on their offense. New quarterback and a new wideout from Akron that we remember, and he was really good. So obviously they have injury issues at quarterback. We don't know who's going to play. Try to get ready for all of them, depending on how it goes down. But we know they're going to be physical. I mean, you don't go and win the ACC without being a physical team, and and we pride ourselves on being physical as well. So we know it's going to be a hard-fought game, and to have, like I said, a top 25 team coming in here, and they know us, we know them, and it's going to be an exciting time for us to go out there and really challenge ourselves and see if we can take care of the ball and play physical and try to slow down a really good team. So it's a great challenge for our guys.
Regarding Pitt's quarterback situation, how does your defense prepare for that? Because it could be one of maybe 4 guys. Just in general, how do you prepare for that? And then specifically, how much film are you watching of each of the 4 guys who could take snaps?
Me personally, I do a report on the opposing quarterback every week. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. Before I start turning the page to helping Coach Thorne, I spend Sunday morning or 3/4 of Sunday on the quarterback. And so I've watched the 2. Now, the defense will watch the other 2, their film previous to going there, because they really don't have any film. But I've watched both guys. They're different, but they're both talented. We watched Slovis last year against, I think it was last year, against San Jose. So we've seen him a little bit. And they're different. I think they offensively what they ran was different when different quarterbacks were in. I think they're pretty efficient at running both. So I think you have to know the strength and weaknesses of both. Depending on who's in there, do I think they'll be maybe a little different? Yeah, you should be. I would call it differently when our backup quarterback goes in versus our third quarter. They all have their different strengths and weaknesses. So I think you just prepared for all of it, but be ready for the guy who's calling the plays, who does a great job to call it to help the quarterback that's in the game. As far as who the other than the top two guys, I don't know who, Slovis, Patty. I mean, like those guys. I've watched. I know they're gonna watch the other two, and they'll probably fit one of the molds. Are they mobile? Are they not? Pocket guy. How big are they? Do they run? All that stuff. So we'll have to just make sure we're ready for that, just so we know what calls. They're not going to change the offense. They're just going to call more of the plays that help that athlete. Hopefully have success.
And to circle back to Ball State for a minute, it seems like in the past that's been a game where the team that had the ball last would win between you guys and the Cardinals. What did it mean for your team to score that touchdown with about 7 minutes left, and then just buckle down on defense and be able to use your offense to run out the clock there?
Huge. I think it's the story. It's going to be the story of this year. I think on defense we have a ton of veterans. They've been in these situations before, and we needed to stop. And not that our offense wasn't ready to get it and score again, but we got to stop when we needed it. And like you said, it has not happened as much in the past. It's an offensive league, and we kept fighting back offensively. And when we needed that one big stop, they got it. And then we did a great job of executing a 4-minute drill. I didn't want to give the ball back to them at all, no matter what. And we were able to do that too. But it felt great. Those guys, they didn't play their best game. They weren't going to let us hit the quarterback. The ball was going to be out. I mean, they haven't given up a sack in 2 games. And they've gone against our defensive line, which I think is pretty good, and Tennessee's offensive line or defensive line, which I know is really good. I've just watched them against Pitt again. We've been watching Tennessee more than anything the last 2 weeks. So they get rid of it, and it was tough, but they made adjustments and they made stops when we needed them, and it was a great sign for our defense moving forward.
It's not every year that top 25 team comes here into Waldo.
Has it ever happened?
2015, I think, against Michigan State. They were
ranked?
Yeah, they were number
okay,
5. Cool. Talk about the opportunity for the school, your players to, put together, a game like this and maybe catch some people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anytime we get to showcase our school, our city, I mean, we're proud of it, right? And so, I think the more people, have a chance to come see a top 25 team come play their hometown team, it's, last year was great and all, but it happened away, so a chance for our people to not have to drive very far and come watch a high-level college football game is special, and it's our first one, right? I mean, everyone wants to get a look at our new, some of our new players. This is going to be their first time to see us and happen, to be playing a really good football team that's coming into town. So it's such a great environment. I mean, everything, you check all the boxes as far as first game, Saturday night, national television, everything you want in a college football atmosphere. And our town and our students and our faculty and our fans, they've always helped us, create that environment. And it's an advantage. I always tell people the same story. I didn't know, I took it for granted as a player. I played here for 5 years and never thought much about it. It was always packed and loud, and it was just our environment, and then once I graduated, I talked to a lot of, because you become friends with guys that come from the MAC. I meet a guy from Northern, and everyone just wanted to talk about playing here, and that was their favorite game of the year. If they only got to play here twice because they were home twice in their 4 years, but here twice, and the 2 times I got to play at Waldo were by far this is where everybody wants to play because of the atmosphere that it's created, and so I guess I didn't appreciate it when I was a player, but afterwards I definitely did. So I'm excited to start feeling that again.
And Marshawn Nealon missed last week. Any status update on his leg injury?
No, I mean, he's out of the boot, which was just for healing and swelling purposes, I'm not in a hurry. I want him 100%. I'm not putting him out there at 50%, 60%, 70%. He's coming back. He's moving around again and sweating. My guess is a week or two, but I'm not going to put him out there until he's 100%, which won't be this week. But it might be in 2 weeks, 2 to 3. You never know, though. It's just about how it feels every single day. But he's out of the boot and he's out on the practice field again, which is great. Any
Players questionable for Saturday or out?
Nah, well, I don't know. Deshaun Bustle, he got hurt in practice last week. I don't know if anyone noticed. You should have noticed because he's our one long corner, and they threw some back shoulder fades. And you're like, where's your tall corner? He wasn't there. He got hurt in practice last week. So he's unfortunately hurt and having surgery, so he'll be out for a long time. And then Marshawn. Other than that, we're fairly healthy. Guys feel good, banged up from some physical games, but our guys are excited and ready to go.
With Deshaun, was this a shoulder or
a knee?
A knee.
Practice one-on-ones or just during a play, got stuck, twisted it, and gonna have some surgery tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow morning.
Talk about. I know that you've been complimentary of your cornerback depth this year. Just talk about the new opportunity for some guys like maybe Kenai.
Kenai played a ton. Anthony Rumpf played a ton. Obviously everyone knows D-Jack. He was all conference last year, so I thought he had a great game this weekend. We rotate all three through. I mean, they're really all making plays and comfortable in what we're doing, and I was really proud of all of them. And Aaron Wofford, who came in as a corner, is a great corner. He's just playing safety because we want to get him on the field, and he can move to corner if we need it. So never had this deep of a unit, and so it's fun to get everyone's getting their opportunity. And it's unfortunate when someone gets hurt, but to have the bodies and just keep moving forward as a defense is unique. It takes years of recruiting to get to that point, and we're happy to have gotten there.
Coach, you guys were talking about, Pitt coming in, top 25 team. What does it mean for you, the staff, all the players here to know that you are, drawing competitions such as this of Power 5 schools and top 25 schools that are coming in to play you guys?
I think having the opportunity, to play the best, right? I mean, that's what everybody wants to do. And, you asked me about my 5 years here. I remember the Florida game my senior year going down there. It was my favorite game, and we went to Missouri and went to Indiana. Those games are fun games. And to have the fact that I would love to have one here. Would have loved to have one here, So the fact that these kind of things are happening is really unique, and our kids get a chance to go get. I mean, we have some Pittsburgh kids, which is really cool. Our starting quarterback, is from there. So really unique for them to be able to play against a team that they grew up in and around that town. Our athletic director grew up in downtown, and it'll be for his first home game. So against Pitt. So the fact that we can get a team like Pitt to come here, and our guys get to play in an atmosphere at home against a great team is unique. It's making college football better and better.
Now, you also mentioned Pitt's defense, a lot of familiar faces coming back. But for you guys, the offense is going to be different. But how do you try and game plan your offense to try and take on that defense once more?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we had a great day. We played with great detail. I mean, truth be told, we didn't do anything super special. We just executed at a very, very high level, and Caleb threw the ball extremely accurately, and so. Everyone else has repeated our game. I mean, everyone's been running it. Like we didn't watch them after we played them last year, but now we've gone back and watched UVA run it and Clemson. I mean, all these teams are running basically what we did, and they've gotten better at stopping it. You know what I mean? And now their new offensive coordinator runs some things that are very similar to what we do. I don't know if he made them do it so they could practice against it, and then they liked it and kept it, or because I don't think that they aren't things that they did at Boston College. So they're way more familiar with what we did last year, so it can't be the same. You got to try to attack their weaknesses. You got to see how they adjust. They've definitely made some adjustments throughout the year. I mean, their defense was not the same at the end of the year as it was when we played them. I watched a couple games, and they've advanced. Like the defensive coordinators get paid too, and they just keep adding new stuff. And so it'll be a harder challenge with some of the new stuff they do. I mean, it really comes down to we have to make sure we're in the right scheme. We're attacking the weakness of their defense, and then at that point, you have to execute against a really good player. And so with some of the new stuff they're doing, with them seeing what we did last year a ton of times now, we have to try to stay one step ahead of the curve. So we can't just run the same stuff. There's going to have to be some variety, and as they put in new stuff, that stuff has different weaknesses too. So it is unique playing a non-conference game for 2 years in a row. You're used to this happening in conference every year. I know everything that Central does and what they don't do and what they did 3 years ago versus 2 years ago, and they made a change, in the game before us. So to have this with a non-conference team is unique, but it's not something we haven't done in a conference game before, where you have a lot of information and film of you watching yourself against them. So makes it more fun. Bottom line is, eventually it comes down to, can you execute against those guys? And they have great ones, and so it'll be a great challenge.
The sort of old school saying is, the most growth is from, week 1 to week 2, or, week 2 to week 3. What have you really seen from that week 1 game into week 2 last week, and now as you guys are moving into week 3, that you really feel this team has developed the most over these last couple?
Honestly, not enough. I thought we should be better. Honest to God. I mean, there's a difference. That saying is very interesting when you talk about like veteran players should grow. I still didn't think executing offensively was good enough. Now, granted, it's going to take time. I mean, we got a lot of new pieces out there. They kept sticking to it, and when they hit it, we went down and scored when they were in rhythm. And then there were some times that we couldn't find a rhythm. We couldn't hit water if we fell out of a boat. Like we couldn't, and we just stuck with it. So I do think there was a little bit of an improvement for sure. I mean, you went from 13 points to 37, so that's definitely an improvement. But when you talk about a new offensive coordinator with a new quarterback and 3 new linemen and new wideouts and tight ends, it's going to take weeks. I mean, we just got to keep at it, and they'll be bigger. Some games will allow bigger jumps than others, but I just like that they're out there attacking it every day, and they know it's a work in progress. Defensively, they've been running this defense for 3 years, and so they can make adjustments on the fly like nobody's. Because remember when we did 3 years ago against this team, we need to make this check, and they're like, okay, they draw it up and they go out there and run it, and it's an amazing thing. So they're at different levels, but we need to get them going. We're not patient people, coaches, so we need it ready now. And so I do think we were better in both, but no, it's never as much as you want it to be. And, it was fun to see the offense come alive. We just need that more consistently,
Coach, they have one of the best D linemen in college football.
Which
8,
one?
Elijah Cansey is
the
first
Cansey.
team all conference player. Is their D line comparable to, say, Michigan State's they faced in week 1?
I mean, I thought you were going to talk about Baldonado or Bentley, but they're all 3 of them are pretty darn good. But I do think Cansey is one of, and I'm a numbers guy, so 86 and 87. 8 is a guy I talked about all year last year as a guy that we talked to scouts a lot, and they ask, who have you seen? And he was the guy for me, the guy that I've seen on film that I think I see playing on Sundays without any doubt. It's him. We did face a big, 6'4", 315-pound guy at Michigan State that was really dynamic. Was really tough, good pad level guy, but I don't think he's as dynamic as Cansey. I don't know if we'll face a defensive lineman that's power, strength, speed. Has that combination of all those things. Obviously, number 4 for Michigan State was pretty darn special, I thought. But so if you're talking about an interior defensive lineman, I don't think we're going to face anyone near him. Maybe Fisk. Honest to God. As far as a guy that when he's in there can wreck a whole play. When we played him 8-9 years ago, they had Aaron Donald in there, and that was a different deal, and he kind of has that where he can wreck a play by himself, even when he had double teamed, where he finds a way to split it and then make the play. So got to know where he is. We knew where he was last year. He was inches away from making it a disruptive play He made a couple disruptive plays. He was inches away from making like 7 more, where we got rid of it just in time. I mean, it was the execution level and the timing of what we were able to do last year was pretty good, because you can't sit back there and hold it with that dude back there, So I think he's pretty special.
And this past weekend, we saw several Group of 5 teams go in and beat Power 5 opponents. Is the transfer portal starting to show up in these games?
100%. I mean, 100%. It's making everyone better. I mean, you look at what's his name? I'm sorry, I know him as there he is, Mumfield. That's from Akron, right? I mean, he was a stud last year, and now he's playing for Pitt. And they got their quarterbacks from USC, and so like it's fun. And then you look at our team, and we have a wideout from Boston College, and a safety from Pitt, and a corner from Purdue. It's really, I think it's helping everybody. As far as the football competition goes, everyone's able to replace. If you've done a good job recruiting, you have the next guy in place. Jack Salapak. When you have that, if you've missed, then you have another place to go. You're not just like, oh, well, we don't have one. If you have the next guy and he's ready, it's simple. And if you don't, you go find one. And so I think, we're getting the opportunity. The non-Power 5 schools are getting some opportunity to get guys that aren't playing that want to play. And, that was, what was it, the Nebraska game? That was Van Treese. That was Kyle Van Treese, man. He's from Buffalo. We played against him. And now he's at Georgia Southern, beating his 5th-year senior, beating Nebraska. So it was fun to watch. I was rooting for him. He's a MAC guy, Stowe, Ohio. I recruited him at Purdue. I love that kid, and so it was fun for him and Coach Helton to get that win over there. But yeah, it's definitely changed in college football, and the problem, the problem is the stats. I'm a numbers guy, right? The stats tell you that if you transfer, your chances of graduating college go way down. For any student athlete or any student, so that's the thing that frustrates me. I don't ever want to devalue the ability of you playing this great game, and let's make it as great as we can, but let's walk out here with a degree, so that's the only negative. But as far as like level of competition, I think it's better than ever because of it, and guys are getting second chances and stuff, and it's showing in all these scores of some of these games.
Coach, anything else?
No, just excited to see Waldo packed and see see the town there, see our students there. We've been waiting a long time to get home, and our players are ready. I think the town's ready. I think our school's ready, and we're excited to put on a show and have fun on Saturday night.
Coach, thank you.
Appreciate it.